All right, welcome back to Inside the Cage. I'm your host, Brady Johnson. Here with me, as always, the man, the myth, the legend, the brother of Cowboys tight end Jake Ferguson, and newly stepbrother-in-law of Carson Beck from Miami Hurricanes. How you doing today,
I
Bennett?
mean, not anymore, man.
I know, I
Carson
said not
Beck and
anymore.
Haley Cavender have broken up. He couldn't keep
And
his hands off the Snapchat.
but what does this mean for Carson Beck? Does this mean that because I think he went to Miami to be with her? Does this mean when the spring window opens in April, does he enter the transfer portal
He
again?
very well could. He very well could. I think they just gave him the most NIL money a quarterback has ever gotten, though.
That is true. That is true.
So
Yeah, yeah.
I think he's there to stay for the money. But I'm telling you,
But
dude, he was with that thin white girl, and he gets down to Miami. He sees all them BBLs. And he sees all those. It's spring break too, man, and there's a lot of people coming down to Florida, and not
yeah,
all of them go to Fort Lauderdale. A good
that's
bit of
true.
them come down to Miami for the party scene.
That's true. That's
So
true.
I think he found himself a little south of the border action.
Yeah, he
Uh,
did. You
it,
know he did.
but
But
I
anyway,
don't know, man. I don't know. This could be very interesting. But we're here to talk about NFL draft. Obviously, I'm the draft guy
yeah,
around here, and not only that, NFL free agency is underway. It's been underway for about a week now.
week now.
Little
It's
tampering
been
period.
crazy. Some crazy moves has been happening in free agency. We're still waiting on the 41-year-old quarterback and Aaron Rodgers to make his decision, whether or not he makes it or not, whether he retires, whether he goes to Minnesota, there's a Brett Favre treatment, whether or not. Anyways, we're gonna get into the 2-round mock draft post free agency.
Mid free agency, I'm gonna say,
Mid
because
mid
post free agency would be literally in April because
yeah,
people can get
but
signed into that.
but
When's
post
Lucas Patrick? Where's Lucas Patrick going?
post mid free agency, then we're gonna get into some of the big names that have signed in free
Yeah.
agency already.
We'll definitely talk about that when we get to like each of these teams.
Yep,
Every team has a first round pick still.
yep,
Nobody's traded away their first yet. There will be at least two teams that either trade back or don't pick in the first round.
that is true. Yep.
Happens every year, no matter what.
Well, as I'm talking, it says best fits for available free agents. Wow.
So, do you want odds or do you want evens?
I'll take evens this time because I think I took odds last time. So
Okay. So we're using mock draft simulator, NFL mock draft simulator, as we always
NFL.
do, because it's pretty much the tried and true free method. We're not going to do trades because, if we're being honest, it's kind of complicated to do a trade. So, with the first overall pick, Tennessee brought in Dan Moore. Um, uh, they brought in the
Kevin Zeitler.
Kevin Zeitler. Thank you. They have Lloyd Cushenberry, Peter Skoronski, and J.C. Latham. They have massively upgraded their O-line. Defensively, they have not done much. Wide receiver-wise, they have not done much. In fact, Nick Westbrook-Akine is still a free agent, I believe.
He is. He is. Yep.
And they haven't really done anything with their run game. Hey, why do y'all got to fight the second I do this? Chill.
Their only current receiver on the roster is Calvin Ridley right now. So
Calvin Ridley and probably a little bit of that
Kyle Phillips, I
Jaquan
think,
Jackson.
and Kyle Phillips as well.
So with that being said, unfortunately, Will Levis is still on the roster. I'm not. I'm going to take Cam Ward. I think. I think if I were the GM of the Titans and I wasn't scared about getting fired, Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter would be my pick here. However, you've got to get your quarterback right. If you at least can put somebody out there that's serviceable, you do that. And Will Levis is obviously going to be traded because I don't want to keep him on my roster after giving him the world and promising him the world. So I'm going to take Cam Ward with the number 1 overall pick.
That's a good pick. For me here at number 2, the Cleveland Browns, they need help in a bunch of places, especially the quarterback position, because they thought Deshaun Watson was going to pan out, paying $158 million. Kenny Pickett's now there, but is he really the answer? Probably not. So I'm not going to go quarterback route here. I'm kind of going to go on the lines of they need a defensive cornerstone to help this team. I mean, they've got Myles Garrett, probably the best interior defensive lineman in the league currently, potentially. I hate saying that as a Steelers fan, as you know. Go Pittsburgh. TJ Watt, the best edge rusher in all of football, best defensive player in football.
Y'all forgetting about Malcolm Kuntz?
No, but anyways, I'm gonna take the athlete in this draft. Probably the best all around player. He can play offense. He can play defense. I'm gonna take Travis Hunter here in a surprise shocker. I understand the Abdul Carter move should be here, but they got to take a guy that can also play offense if they need help for him to play wide receiver on the offensive end. So I'm gonna take Travis Hunter.
The New York Giants are a very interesting team here because they have done nothing in free agency that has said that they have a quarterback on their roster they're confident in. They only re-signed Tommy Cutlets. That's the only guy they got. They got
Hey, let me throw that nigga.
They went out in free agency and re-signed their own guy with Slayton at wide receiver. Defensively, they've done a lot of moves. They brought in not Alontae Taylor, the other mid.
Javon Holland, Paulson Adebo.
No, was it Alontae Taylor? No, Paulson Adebo went there.
They
brought in Javon Holland.
Taylor went to Kansas City.
No, he didn't.
No, he hasn't been signed. I don't think. Yeah.
No, Alontae Taylor's still on the Saints.
Oh, he is? Okay.
Yeah, Paulson Adebo did leave. So New York's in an interesting spot because they really need a quarterback. And Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson are the only two guys out there left that started last year that could start again this year that you're comfortable with. I could definitely see them trading for a Will Levis. However, I don't think Brian Daboll moved for that.
Milton? Could Joe Milton be?
Joe Milton, you're not trading for Joe Milton and saying you're going to start. You're trading for Joe Milton and you're bringing in a Russell Wilson and putting Milton behind him just to see. I'm going to go Shedeur here.
That's a smarter pick here.
I got to say, man, I don't like the pick. However, something's got to be done.
Now here with New England Patriots here on the clock, they've been chewing right now in free agency. And most people think that it
will not stop peeing on my floor, and so now every time that happens, I have to go run and clean it up before I step in it.
It's okay. But yeah, the Patriots are cooking. Vrabel is cooking with what Bennett said. I don't forgot what he said in the chat on the inside. Mike Vrabel's cooking with what, Bennett?
He's starting a grease fire.
Yeah, he's cooking. He's starting a grease fire. But he's got some players that played with him in New England on that defensive side. Harold Landry, a good one. Carlton Davis, a really good corner, went there. I think they also got Christian Gonzalez still there, and they got another guy in that secondary that's really good as well that they just got, and then they still got Jabril Peppers there. So I mean, Vrabel is cooking right now. So I'm actually going to take a guy that could help him up front and would be a contribution to this team in a large way.
Don't forget, they also brought in Morgan Moses.
They brought in offensive
line
help as well. They brought in offensive help as well. I can't forget about that. But I'm still going to go stick with the defensive guy here and help them out. I'm actually going to go Mason Graham, the defensive line, because they lost Devon Godshaw and they don't really have a perimeter interior guy that needs help. He needs help. I know who they got, but he needs help.
They got Milton Williams.
They do. They got Milton Williams, but
they got Milton Williams. They got Milton Williams, Christian Barmore, Harold Landry, Christian Ellis.
But they still need help.
They also brought in Carlton Davis.
But they still need help.
No. This would be really good if they could have Mason Graham.
Would be a great pick.
Mason Graham and Milton Williams in the middle of that defense with Harold Landry, and I guess they're gonna put Barmore out there on the edge.
They'll put Barmore out there.
That is insane. That is a great pass rush, and you can go hopefully second round and grab maybe an outside linebacker or an offensive lineman.
Yes, because exactly what Vrabel did in Tennessee was he had Tier Tart and Danico Autry in the middle with Jeffrey Simmons and Harold Landry as the edge. And Jeffrey Simmons is technically a defensive tackle, but he can play defensive end as well. So
Saxonville up on the clock.
This would be a pick that I would have taken with Will Johnson, but he's hurt, so he's slipping down the boards right now. So
honestly, there's part of me that goes Jahdae Barron over Will Johnson.
He's hurt right now, though, so you can't fault him for that.
You can't. However, you can definitely take somebody instead.
You can.
Let's see. Jacksonville brought in Patrick McCarry, Robert Hainsey in their interior. You
Also,
got
Abdul Carter is slipping for me because he's injured. Saying he's not injured.
the reason he's slipping is just because we haven't taken him. Like there's been opportunities to take him. Abdul Carter with Trayvon Walker and Hines Allen would be really good, but I don't think they need him. I think this is obviously in this scenario. If I was Jacksonville, I would trade out of this pick.
If I'm Jacksonville, I'm taking an offensive line.
But since we're not, I'm going Tetro McMillan, wide receiver from Arizona.
Not my pick, but that's a great pick too. Tetro McMillan.
I think you get him and Brian Thomas Jr. in the same offense. Trevor Lawrence has two really, really strong guys. I was looking at Will Campbell. They like Walker Little. They also like Ezra Cleveland. They just paid both of them big boy money. Obviously, Will Campbell could play center. So Robert Hainsey, you just signed him, but he could obviously be a backup again. But Will Campbell could play center. Anton Harrison, I think they want to give him a true shot at right tackle this year and really just let him be. And then their right guard is Picard, who I don't really think you're going to bench for somebody. So that's why I went with T-Mac. I think T-Mac makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, that does. I mean, it gives them wide receiver help, which they desperately need after losing Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram. They're probably their best pass catcher on that team besides Brian Thomas because he's a rookie. So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt.
I mean, Tyler Warren would have made a ton of sense there too, but I just don't think tight ends going that high.
He's not. Here, I'm going to go with an obvious pick too. I mean,
well, let's look at the Raiders real quick. Raiders brought in Geno Smith, Raheem the Dream, Mostert. They don't really have a wide receiver besides Jacoby Myers. You got Brock Bowers.
I still think that they could use a running back though.
Of course, yeah. I was going to say just to round out their free agency, they let go of a bunch of their O linemen, their backups. So Jordan Meredith's probably your worst guy. Dylan Parham's still on that O line, but they gave a max to Max Crosby. You've got
they've got a bunch of defensive guys. So
they brought in.
Pete Carroll's cooking with grease too, though. Pete Carroll's cooking with grease.
Yep. So I think I know where you're going. So go ahead.
They brought in Landon Roberts, I think, or am I thinking of someone else? No, they brought in Landon Roberts. They brought in Landon Roberts to play middle linebacker.
Yeah, they did. They did.
I think so. I'm gonna go Ashton Jeanty. It makes the most sense here. I understand that they do need a receiver. There is still some receivers in free agency that they could go get. But it is a Pete Carroll team. I think he doesn't really care who his really receivers are, as you've seen in Seattle. I mean, he does.
I think they bring in Tyler Lockett.
But they'll bring in a Tyler Lockett. They already have Jacoby Myers still on contract. They have Brock Bowers.
And you can also trade.
You can also trade Jacoby Myers for some.
I'm talking about their backup tight end, Michael Mayer.
Oh, Michael Mayer. You could trade
him away. Trade him. Please send him to the Saints. We'll give you something for him because what the Saints really desperately need is a prototypical tight end because we just signed Juwan Can't Catch Shit Johnson to a massive deal. But to do what? He can't block. He can't play. He's a scrub. Bona fide scrub.
But Pete Carroll is looking at the vision like I can use both tight ends. I can use Jacoby Myers. I can use they still got Trey Tucker, the speedster. He's going to be able to involve him with that. And if they go sign Tyler Lockett, I think they'll be okay with Geno Smith throwing the football. But you still need that guy that's going to take the top off of the defense and go get Ashton Jeanty. I mean, you got the speedster Raheem Mostert, but he's and he just came off of an injury that really
he's old as shit. He's been playing since the Broncos won the Super Bowl.
But he also came off of a really bad injury, so Ashton Jeanty here makes sense, and it helps the Raiders to try to compete in that division to where Kansas City might not be the top team anymore. So.
New York Jets are on the clock here. The New York Jets did quite a bit this free agency.
Go out and get their franchise quarterback.
What the hell? So they got Justin Fields. They brought in hang on. They brought in Fields. They brought in
Jeremy Rucker, tight end.
Josh Myers, who's
Jeremy
really
Rucker.
good.
Jeremy
he
Rucker.
probably will end up starting. They
Jeremy
brought back Jeremy Rucker. Yeah. Stone Smart came in from the Titans.
These are guys that played with Justin Fields at Ohio State. Was Josh Myers, Rucker, and Garrett Wilson, who was his roommate and teammate at Ohio State. So
I'm going the most obvious pick here. I'm taking Abdul.
That's a smart pick. The Jets need help defensively so bad, and it's
Listen, what did Aaron Glenn have in Detroit? He had Aleem
edge
McNeil, and
edge
he
rusher.
had Aiden Hutchinson. Will McDonald and Jermaine Johnson are both really good, and they are part of that beautiful rotation that they can have. However, you have Abdul Carter anchored with Quinnen Williams and Michael Clemens. He's there. Don't sleep on
Yeah,
him.
don't sleep on Michael
He's
Clemens,
good for
man.
2 sacks a year.
But he's a great run stopper. He is a great run stopper. You can't sleep on what he can do in the run game.
But yeah, no, you bring in an Abdul Carter, which he won't fall this far in the actual draft. Somebody will trade up for Abdul if he doesn't get picked within the top 3 picks. I think New England's going to fall back, or if not, it'll be Jacksonville.
Yeah, I think Jacksonville takes him at 5, which would be idiotic.
I don't think they're going to take. I think they just trade out of the pick.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. What with the Carolina Panthers on the clock? I mean, here
So who all have they picked up in free agency? They've done a lot.
They have. I don't remember who they picked up in free agency.
I will pull up their depth chart right now and tell you who they picked up.
That would be a great idea because I know they.
That's what I've been doing. I've been pulling up their depth chart for each team. They brought in Tershawn Wharton from the Chiefs.
I know that was their big, they paid him big money to bring him in.
They did. They signed Trevon Mooring.
That was a good signing as well.
Re-signed J.C. Horn, which that was a big one.
They also re-signed Andy Dalton. I know that.
They did. They brought in Christian Roseboom to be their middle linebacker of the future / now. Like he's been him and Josie Jewell is a nice 1-2.
Yeah.
Then Bobby Brown. I'm not sure if he was already there, but he's now here.
You know what?
O-line. I don't think they've made any big moves. I know they re-signed Tommy Trimble. And they re-signed. Oh yeah, they signed Rico Dowdle, him and Chuba.
You know what? I'm gonna go BPA just because.
Okay.
Just because I'm looking at the Panthers, I'm looking at what they're doing right now. They're trying. They are really, really trying to rebuild this roster to help Bryce Young. Look, they got Xavier Legette. I'm not too worried about that. They do need another receiver. I do think they still got Thielen though as well. So I still do think that they need a guy in this little box area where that can be like in the middle of the field, whether it's short routes. So they need someone like that.
Yeah.
I mean, Thielen's more of your possession guy like Tyler Lockett, and Xavier Legette your deep ball threat. But you need a guy that just be in the middle of the field there. Also, I feel like they do need another tight end. I understand that they've got.
They got Sanders and they got Trimble.
They use a various of guys at tight end, so that's why I think they did need to take Will Campbell here, the tackle who can also play guard or center if he really needs to for this team. And it's a great pick because he's a guy that can play anywhere on the O-line if they need him to. And it's just Will Campbell. Will Campbell, the best tackle in this draft. So.
He's the best. He's the best O lineman. I think he's not going to play tackle at the next.
Best all around O lineman in this draft. I'll say that.
Hey, Wesley Novus, stop barking.
Oh, as y'all heard Patrick Willis bark on the screen.
He's calling out the pass protection for the.
he's like blitz. Bennett, you on the clock with the Saints.
I was trying to convince you not to do this so I could take him, but I think I'm actually going to go in a different way here. I'm going to take, in my opinion, a true athletic freak on D-line. They brought back Chase Young. They brought in Justin Reed. You've got Tyrann Mathieu been restructured. They desperately need a corner. I'm not going to take Will Johnson or Benjamin Morrison. Jahdae Barron is in the conversation, but he's a zone guy. I'm not sure what Kellen Moore's scheme is going to be on defense.
And with Brandon Staley as his DC. So
fuck me.
Brandon Staley runs a lot of zone, so Jahdae Barron.
He might be good. However, I'm going to take a guy who's an absolute game wrecker. I'm going to take from Texas A&M, Shamar Stewart.
Great pick. It's a great pick.
That's my boy. That's one of my. He runs so well for somebody who's so fucking big. Like,
All right, with the Chicago Bears pick here, I think this one most people might not like, but it's a mock draft and it could happen with the way the draft is going right now. With our mock draft, which I don't think this was going to happen anyways. I have Will Campbell mocked here, in
Yeah.
or see where I've seen Will Campbell mocked here in most drafts, but they do still need a tackle, and why not go get who, in my opinion, was very underrated as a guy coming into this. I'm gonna go Armand Imbu from Missouri. I understand he's a part of Ben Johnson's system. I think that'll be good for him to learn under the Ben Johnson scheme and help block for Caleb Williams as well. So I'm going to go Armand Mimbu.
I'm just picturing Mimbu, Tooney, Dahlman, Jackson, and Wright all on that same O line. That is probably going to be the best offensive line in football within the next 3 years.
That will. And look, the only problem I have with Mbu is his hands. If Ben Johnson and the O line coach can fix his hands, they're getting a stud at left tackle.
I think he's the best true tackle in this draft.
He is. He's the best true tackle in this draft. But he's just got to work on his hands, because every time I see him block somebody, he's like late with his hands, and he's always getting beat. If he can fix his hands, he will be, I think, the best tackle, maybe the best offensive lineman in this draft.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I love it. San Fran 49ers are on the clock here. I am going to –
they need a little bit of everything. They losing everybody.
I'm going to take a massive swing on a guy who I think can – the raw physical upside of him is crazy. He was a rotational guy when he played in college, but he ran really well at the combine. I'm going to take edge rusher from Tennessee, James Pierce Jr.
Yes, James Pierce, Tennessee guy. You know me, I'm a Tennessee guy. But James Pierce, great pick. He can play edge rusher. He can also play outside linebacker. He can play defensive end. He can play defensive tackle if you really need him to. I know he's a little bit small to play defensive tackle, but he can do anything you ask him to do. And 49ers need a player that can, play everywhere. Outside linebacker, defensive end. Outside linebacker, hell, he might even be able to play middle linebacker. So, great pick. James Pierce is a great fit there. I think that they'll figure it out, especially in Robert Saleh's defense. So, here with the Dallas Cowboys, they really haven't done too much.
They just signed the greatest player to ever grace a Saints jersey in Peyton Turner.
They haven't done anything really in free agency. Jerry Jones, I think, just needs to go and retire and hand off the franchise to someone else.
He's not doing that till he's dead.
He's not doing that until he's actually bank dead.
And even then, they might by that point have AI strong enough to replicate him and his bad decision making.
So hear me out. I should probably take a defensive player here, but because they just lost Tank Lawrence and they lost a bunch of guys, but they're getting Dante Fowler back on a 1-year deal, which was kind of their big signing, which I still don't see why they wanted Dante Fowler for a year. I'm actually going to help this O-line after losing their best player on the O-line in Zach Martin. You're going to have Cooper Beebe at center. I think they're going to move Tyler Smith back to guard. Then you're going to have – I don't know who's going to play the right guard position for them. And then you have Terrence Steele at tackle. And then Guyton's going to play tackle as well, unless you move Steele to guard. And then I'm going to draft this guy to specifically play tackle. I'm going to draft Kelvin Banks from Texas to play tackle for them.
That makes sense. I think he can. I think Kelvin can also kick into guard.
He could kick into guard.
At least for a season or two if they need him to. They could probably put him at right guard. He's a big boy, so they'll be fine.
This is why I thought Zeitler was going to go to the Dallas Cowboys to play guard, because Martin retired. But they didn't have the money to pay Zeitler to go there.
Now, I would also like to say Lucas Patrick is a free agent, and he was good with the Saints this past year. He's getting up there in age. I think it'd make a lot of sense for him to go sign with a team like Dallas. Him and TJ Bass can fight out for that right guard spot, maybe. Novus.
What's his name also got released? Redunes from Tennessee, I think.
Did he? I thought he's still under contract.
So one of those good interior players for Tennessee got released. I never forgot who it. But I mean, Dallas could go get him as well. I'm not sure if it's Redunes or if it was
No, he's still in. He's still in.
for what's his name? I can't think of his name. It was the guy that played guard because Redunes was playing tackle. It was the guy that filled in for Redunes.
Russ.
I don't know who it was, but whoever it is, it was him. He was playing guard. I think that he was decent enough to play for the Dallas Cowboys at guard. If they really truly need a guard, you can move Terrence Steele to guard. You can move Kelvin Banks to guard. But I do think they need to address the O line before they go anywhere further.
Miami's on the clock. You know what time it is.
Do I know what time it is?
See, there's two thoughts here. One of them is they just lost Javon Holland. And you know where they could go. You know where they could go. I don't love that fit. However, if he could go in and just immediately fill the Javon Holland void, that would be a great fit for him. However, I think I'm going to go interior D-line. I'm going to go Kenneth Grant. They desperately need somebody like that after losing, what's his name? Wilkins 2 years ago.
Yeah, that is true.
They never filled that hole. So
they never did, and it sucks.
And Miami brought in James Daniels. They also brought in Zach Wilson, if anyone's interested in his career still. And then they brought in some other little like gadget pieces that, I mean, you know them. They don't really – they have a very set – but McDaniels has a very set mindset of what he wants. He doesn't give a fuck about the O-line. He doesn't give a fuck about, the defense. He only cares about speed and wide receivers. And I think Jonnu Smith re-signed for another year, but I would be surprised if they released him.
You took Kenneth Grant, right?
Yep.
Just making sure. All right, now this is the obvious pick, but, we wanted this to happen. We all wanted this to happen. No, we didn't. We actually didn't really want this to happen. But it'll be Indiana Jones throwing him this football. And I hate it because I love AR, but he does need to sit. We all talked about this before the draft process, that he needed to sit, and they threw him out there too early, and now he's looking like rough. He's looking rough. I still think he needs to sit behind Daniel Jones. I think Daniel Jones is going to start for the Indianapolis Colts. He'll sit behind him, and then he's gonna improve. And then why not go get a guy who's a Swiss Army knife like Taysom Hill? Go get your tight end, Tyler Warren, from Penn State.
I like it.
Who can play anywhere. Heck, he can play quarterback if you wanted him to, too. So,
basically, he's do-it-all.
He's a do-it-all guy.
So next up's ATL. They have Philip Dorsett and Davis Sills on their roster. What could be better, man? They lost their center. They brought back Jake Matthews. Morgan Fox signed with them.
They lost Rondale Moore as well.
And nobody gives a fuck about him. They brought in Leonard Floyd. They brought in Divine Diablo. Jesse Bates is still there. Hughes and Terrell are still there.
They've also got Simmons as well.
Yeah. So they have a lot of holes. I think a lot of people are like, they need to get a defensive, they need to get an edge rusher, they need to get edge. They do.
They do.
However, Morgan Fox still putting up statistics. Leonard Floyd definitely.
Arnold Ebikete's putting up stats anyways.
My biggest issue is they don't have the interior of their O-line. Chris Lindstrom's great. Dahlman's good. But they don't have a center anymore. Wait, who did the Bears sign?
Dang it, I accidentally hit the freaking wrong player. I didn't mean
What player did you hit?
I accidentally hit Colston Loveland. I was just trying to swipe and it just
instead of Tyler Warren?
No, for the Atlanta Falcons, I accidentally did it.
That's okay.
I remember the picks, so I'm just gonna go back into it.
So with Atlanta, I think I do like Jalen Walker and Michael Williams here. Part of me wants to draft a wide receiver. Part of me wants to take like Donovan Jackson or Tyler Booker here. You know what? I think I talked myself back around. I think we're gonna go with Jalen Walker here.
Jalen Walker. Oh, that's not a bad pick. Jalen Walker one of those guys that can play
Him,
defensive
Floyd, and
tackle,
Ebiketie switching in and
defensive
out.
end. He's one of those big body guys that is very underrated at Georgia, but I only think he was very underrated because of his get off, and he wasn't very, like, what's the word I'm trying to find here? He wasn't very, the big piece to that Georgia defense. He wasn't, that top-notch guy that they usually have every year, edge rushing. So to look at a guy like Jalen Walker coming in, he's going to be solely off of upside. I think he can be really, really good if he's in the right system, and what a great way for Raheem Morris to get a guy like that. So, but I'm still picking the picks. So.
So you're up next with the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah. Mimbu went to the Bears. James Pierce to the 49ers. Dallas selected Kelvin Banks. Kenneth Grant was the next pick after Kelvin Banks. Tyler Warren. Then we're on Jalen Walker, edge, or Michael Williams. Jalen Walker. Okay, here we go. Arizona on the clock. They did somewhat a bunch of stuff in free agency. They got Josh Sweat, who I thought was a huge move for their Arizona Cardinals, getting edge help, which they desperately needed. I still think they needed to go out and get some linebacking help after they lost. They're going to lose Gardeck and what's his name? The other edge rusher that they had. I don't forgot his name. But either way, they're going to lose both of those guys. They're losing some interior of that linebacking core as well. Honestly, this is a reach, but I don't want to do that right now. I still think you need to get another edge rusher to help Josh Sweat, so I'm still going to stick with defense here. I'm actually not high on this guy as everybody else is, but I'm going to take him solely off of his upside and what I think Arizona might do. I'm going to take Mike Green from Marshall here, the edge rusher.
All right, I like Mike Green. He's solid.
I don't, unfortunately. I don't see the upside of what everybody sees in him more than most of you all do, but I'm just going to take it off of, talent. Because he's talented, don't get me wrong. He's very talented, but I just don't see it. I just don't see why he's one of these.
I think the thing that really got me hyped about him is his Senior Bowl. He went up against Josh Connerly and made Josh Connerly look like a fool.
Well, Josh Connerly is one of the worst tackles in this draft. So
he's decent. I don't love Josh Connerly, but I think he's borderline first, second round.
Lamar Jackson gets a backup quarterback, and it is Cooper Rush. I throw it on a dime like I ain't even trying. I'm just a kid from Briarwood. I'm wearing number 9.
Trace McSorley's now a assistant coach for Penn State.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, Cooper Rush, the man, the myth, the legend.
So, tonight, Bengals.
They need
what the fuck happened? I mean, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, which are paying those two idiots so much money to be so freaking.
Well, they haven't paid Jamar Chase yet, so.
Yeah, they're saying like $34 million, something like
40,
that.
No, 40 million.
So you've got the O-line has basically been like decimated. You got Orlando Brown, Cordell Volson, Ted Karras. They got rid of Marius Mims on the right side, and then the right guard
was Alex Kaplan. They got rid of him.
Is now Cody Ford,
who was not bad last year playing tackle, and he had played center, tackle, and guard last year.
Listen, his ex-girlfriend, obviously said
is with the basketball player.
She's not bad either. Like she was ugly. That's what I meant to say. I don't understand why he was with her. I'm on his side, by the way. Random beef to try to get into. Dax Hill, Jordan Battle. They really haven't brought in a lot of crazy signings. Trey Hendrickson's getting traded, so I'm gonna act like he's not there. I mean, they brought in TJ Slayton.
They need a corner. They need a corner really bad, though.
Nah, they got Josh Newton. But
I just saw that Chidobe Awuzie got cut by the Titans.
Welcome back to the Bengals, buddy. Welcome. Get ready to learn orange and black, buddy. I mean, Henry Ruggs would make a lot of sense. He's already wearing orange. Cincinnati, we're gonna go ahead and take an absolute dismissal. Please don't look at his tape when he was 15 years old, because that is some of the most embarrassing highlight film I've ever seen off of an edge rusher. Taking Mr. Alopecia himself, Landon Jackson.
This early?
Oh fuck yeah! I think he's better than Michael Williams. I like Nick Scorton, but I think Landon Jackson's that heavy-handed guy you want in the dirt. Lining up across from Joseph Osai at this point.
I would have taken Donovan Ezeuruku.
Ezeuruku, the thing with him is I like Ezeuruku. He's tiny. He is the Muggsy Bogues of defensive linemen.
It doesn't matter. I mean, the Bengals would do something like that, though.
No, they wouldn't. They got Osai and Miles Murphy. Those two dudes were fucking massive coming out of college.
That is true. Okay.
And so you get Landon Jackson. He's gonna rub his shiny head like a wizard, and Joe Burrow's gonna win the game 54-52.
Yeah. Okay, whatever. All right. The Seattle Seahawks are on the clock. They are trying to cook in free agency too. It seems like they trade Geno Smith to go get Sam Darnold, who I think they're overpaying, but now they got him. Now they got him a guy. So I can't say nothing that they're overpaying because I think he plays good when he has good receivers. But we'll see. They just got Cooper Kupp. They got Jackson Smith and Jigba. They can still need to figure out who's going to be a third guy there. Maybe they draft somebody. I'm guessing.
Jake Bobo, what you talking about?
That's what I'm guessing is going to happen. Is they're going to draft somebody. But to me, what was the hole for this whole team? It was the linebacking core and the offensive line. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to help them address the offensive line, and I'm not going to take the guy that I think they should take. I'm going to take the guy that I think that they really need more than they should take. I'm going to take Tyler Booker, the interior offensive lineman from Alabama.
I like it a lot. That's what I would have done.
I would have taken Josh Simmons just because what's his name? Lucas hasn't been very good on the tackle spot. But I feel like that they can move Booker around because he can play tackle too, as he did in Alabama. So I think that they'll figure it out. But Tyler Booker, they need some interior help more than they do outside help. So
my biggest fear with Booker is with taking a tackle is what if Lucas stays healthy and now you're stuck with this tackle that you drafted in the first round.
That is true. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind taking Booker, and then you can move him to tackle if you need, or you also have a guy play right guard.
He can play center too.
Oh, they really need a center. It's really what they need. Because right now, Latini's their only guy that's scheduled to play center for him, and he's not very.
But I mean, Tyler Booker can play center too. He's played everywhere on the Alabama.
It's a little bit big to play center, but I'm fine with that.
But he's played everywhere on the Alabama offensive line. So
the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we're going to look at their team real quick. They haven't done as much as I thought they were going to do in free agency.
They got what's his name?
Godwin.
They got what's his name? The edge rusher too.
Old ass
Hassan Reddick.
Hassan Reddick, who's probably going to play one more year and then fall off.
No, it's not Reddick because JJ Reddick changed his name. It's Reddick. Hassan Reddick. That's how he says it. That's what he said in the press conference. It's not Hassan Reddick. It's Hassan Reddick.
Okay. Well, Hassan, Savon, Wadam, Lakers in 5. We're gonna go with Jadae Barron, corner from
Lakers ain't winning in 5. I'm sorry. Lakers ain't.
They lost Carlton Davis to the Patriots. They have Winfield. They have
Carlton Davis was on the Lions last year.
It's because they traded him. That's right.
Yeah.
Every time I think about him and Vernon Hargraves, I just get Buccaneers uniforms.
They did. They still have Jamel Dean, I think. I'm not positive on that.
They do. They got Jamel, Zion, Jordan Whitehead, and Antoine Winfield, and Christian Eisen, technically. But we're gonna go Jadae Barron. He's gonna up that corner room to like the fucking stratosphere. And you're going to get Todd Bowles, his guy, to develop over the next couple of years when
And that's a
Inevitably,
great
Jamel Dean falls off the cliff.
that's a great pick for Jahdae Barron though, because Todd Bowles runs a lot of zone, and zone coverage is Jahdae Barron's specialty.
Him and
But
Tyke Smith are gonna fuck some shit up.
but but he's gonna have to learn how to play some man coverage, especially against some teams like the Saints, the Falcons, the
Yeah,
Panthers.
with Velus Jones Jr.
Yeah, that's your new wide receiver.
The Saints just signed Velus Jones Jr. to a 2-year contract.
That's my boy.
We
That's my
officially
boy.
have Lynn Bowden
My
rebirth.
boy. That's my boy though. Go Balls, baby. See, here with the 20th pick for the Denver Broncos, I would have taken. What are you doing?
Oh, Nobis is over here, and so I'm scratching his butt and going.
Oh, I would have taken Colston Loveland here, but they just got a big tight end for Bo Nix, and it's absolutely great pick. Evan Ingram,
perfect.
Evan Ingram, perfect for Bo Nix. I would have taken the tight end here, Colston Loveland, but I'm not. So this changes a little bit of things for me. I'm actually going to go with a sneaky pick here that might help the Broncos in a little bit. I'm not going to say a lot of it, but I'm going to help this linebacking room a whole lot. I'm going to take Jahad Campbell from Alabama.
Okay, I like it.
And I usually don't take Alabama guys because it's the. But I've taken 2 Alabama guys that I don't like, but I think it's just a perfect fit. He'll fit in that what's his name's defense, Vance Joseph defense, and I think it'd be great here.
You're gonna hate me.
Don't you dare take the freaking wide receiver. We don't need.
I was not. I was gonna take your future.
Oh, okay. I
was gonna take the future quarterback of the team. It feels like an overdraft. I think that his pro day and as we get closer to the draft, Jackson Dart's going to solidify himself as a first-round quarterback. Again, here's the reason why you have to do this if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers do not have a second-round pick. There's no way in hell Jackson Dart is making it to the third round. You got to take him now because if not, you're legitimately looking at Quinn Ewers or Tyler Shuck as your next available guy.
Shuck or Shaw wouldn't be that bad. Ewers would be horrible.
Not the future, though. Jackson Dart is that guy who can be your future. I have a lot of confidence in him. You good with me taking?
I'm okay with Jackson Dart. I don't hate the Jackson.
I feel like if I were the GM and I didn't care about losing my job, I would be taking Walter Nolan or Nick Monowari here because I like both of them better as prospects. But I think the necessity means taking Jackson Dart.
We don't really need what are we going to do with Nick Monowari though?
Listen. Again, if I was the GM, if I'm a GM and I'm walking into I don't give a frick about my positional needs. If I have Walter Nolan or Nick Monowari on the board, I'm taking one of those 2.
Walter Nolan, I understand because
him and Hayward would be a beast.
Him and Hayward would be a beast, and Hayward's getting ready to retire. And then once Keanu Benton's improved every year so far of his career because of Cam Hayward. If you get Keanu Benton on another year behind Cam Hayward, he's going to be excellent. Walter Nolan's going to be excellent. I don't hate that one. The Nick Monowari one, I just don't get because the Steelers they would have to play him at corner. I don't think he's suited just to play corner. He's going to have to play everywhere, but I don't think he's going to play everywhere for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's the problem.
Yeah. All right, going on to pick. So I went ahead and I took Jackson Dart. So now you're up with the Chargers.
The Chargers pick here. I mean, this should be self-explanatory.
Chargers, they've got O-line figured out. They did cut Bosa.
They did help. They did kind of help the corner room, but I still don't like the corner room enough. I still think that this guy could be excellent, and since he's fallen here, I think this is the perfect time to take this guy. I'm going to take Will Johnson from Michigan.
Yeah, and plus it's with his old coach anyway.
And it makes the most sense in the absolute world. And I think he'll be a slot guy for them because I think they're going to work St. Juice on the outside with Asante Samuel Jr. And then if St. Juice doesn't work out, Will Johnson can bump in anywhere. Actually, he can play safety, slot, number 1, number 2. He can play anywhere. So,
Green Bay Packers, they've done a little bit in free agency. They brought in some guys. However, they need to get a number 1 wide receiver. Desperately, they need one. They need Christian Watson, Dontavian Wicks, or
Jaden Reed's their best receiver. By
Reed
far.
to step the fuck up. And
I know,
none of
but
them.
Reed's their best receiver.
I'm taking wide receiver from Missouri. I'm going to go Luther Burden.
That's a
I
great
think he
pick.
could be the number one guy. I like Matthew Golden, and I like Emeka Egbuka. Egbuka, I think you already have that on your roster. Matthew Golden
Amuka's
is
a slot guy. Emeka Buka's a slot guy. Matthew Golden's
fast as fuck.
His issue with me though is his hands at times can be rough, and I think he's more of a Tyler Lockett type of guy. Anyways, Luther Burden's the guy that you could. Even though he was listed at 6 foot, he's still that 50-50 ball guy at 6 foot tall and can still outrun you.
You need a Devontae Adams, Jordy Nelson hybrid.
Yeah,
and you get that with Luther Burden.
You get that with Luther Burden. Yeah. Here, you know where I'm going with this. This absolutely makes the sense in the world. This is our guy, everybody, if y'all don't know. This is our guy. Nick Amonowori from South Carolina is going to bolster this Minnesota defense. Could be Defensive Rookie of the Year in his first year.
Could be league MVP by the end of this.
Could, yeah.
I'd put $5 on Nick Amonowori MVP. No, I wouldn't.
Defensive Player of the Year?
Defensive Rookie of the Year, maybe. Houston's up on the clock. This pretty easy. This is really easy. I'm gonna take Josh Simmons.
Yeah, they just lost Laramie Tunsil to a trade.
They lost Laramie Tunsil. They traded his ass. They traded away Kendrick Green. They brought in
they lost Kenyon Green.
Whatever. Who gives a fuck about him? And then they brought in who's the guy they brought in? Some fucking money. I don't even remember. Let's see.
They still have Drew Scruggs as their center, right?
I think he played guard for them. Yeah, he's their right guard right now. They brought in Laken Tom. Oh, he was already there, right?
Laken Thompson.
Oh, yeah, they traded for Ed Ingram.
Oh, yeah. That is.
The needle mover. Austin Deckles, Madden legend.
Austin Deckles. He used to be on my all-white team, so I can't be mad at him.
But yeah, no, we're going to take Josh Simmons. That is the easiest pick. If Blake Fisher maybe could play left tackle, in that case, Josh Simmons, you're a right tackle, and that's fine.
Yeah, I agree. With the Rams here, hear me out. This makes all the sense in the world. You got Devontae Adams. You got Puka Nacua. You can settle with your number 3 receiver in Tutu Atwell. He's good with Matthew Stafford, so you can settle with Tutu Atwell. I don't really think that you need to take the receiver here. That's why I'm not going to. You got Tyler Higbee, but
Higbee was hurt all year last year.
Is he going to be the same player as he used to was? No. So I'm actually going to help Matthew Stafford offensively. They got the O-line kind of fixed, not all the way fixed.
They got some people. They brought in.
They brought in some.
They
people.
traded away Jonah Jackson. They got Rob Havenstein still. They got Alaric Jackson. They re-signed.
Yeah.
Steve Avila was really good at guard this past year.
Really good. He was really
Kevin
good.
Dotson, my boy, number 69 from the Steelers.
I hate that he left and he's doing really good.
And then somebody who left and then has come back home. He played a year in Chicago. They brought back Coleman Shelton.
Yeah. So, I mean, their O-line is good. And Bennett knows my love relationship with Kevin Dotson, and I don't think the Steelers should have never got rid of him because they were stupid. But I'm going to take Colston Loveland, the tight end here from Michigan. It makes sense. This offense is cooking with grease. McVay is going to be cooking with grease as he always does. And watch out, guys. The Rams could be a sleeper team for the Super Bowl next year.
You got Turner, Fisk, Verse, and then they brought in my boy Puna.
Yeah, Puna 4. They've also got some young defensive backs that are still learning some things right now. They got AJ Terrell, who didn't really get to play a lot last year. They got, or not AJ Terrell. Who am I thinking of? The guy from Georgia. The guy from Georgia that didn't get to play a lot last year. They have the Williams, who they brought back, and then John Johnson, who they brought back as well. So I mean, they're old guys, and these younger guys are meshing well together. This Rams team could be a sleeper for the Super Bowl next year, and I wouldn't even be surprised that they're going to the Super Bowl because of how good this defense and this offense will be. So,
Ravens, they brought in some decent players. They've
They got D Hop.
That's where receivers go to die, unfortunately. But
That's true.
he's going to have that Sammy Watkins type season.
And I hate that for him. I really do hate that for him.
I am going with the best player available. I'm going to take safety from Georgia, Malachi Starks.
It's a great pick. I think that
they can play him at corner. They need help there, or if not, they just cut Marcus Williams. So
he can play in the slot, but I think a safety tandem of him and Kyle Hamilton will be absolutely unstoppable.
It'd be great.
Here with the Detroit Lions.
This pick should be a run-in.
Yes, I think I'm gonna. Oh, actually, I like two guys here. Actually, okay, I'm gonna give I'm gonna give the defense help. It's two defensive guys that I'm struggling with here, but I really do think the defense still needs help. I don't really like the upside of this guy, but I think I'm gonna have to take him because he's the only option. I mean, they got a Lee McNeil in the middle, which Walter Nolan, hear me out, would be a great pick.
He'd be great
to help him, but I'm gonna help their biggest need, which is to help Aiden Hutchinson on the outside. I'm gonna go Mikael Williams from Georgia.
Yeah, that's the pick.
Who I'm not very high on, but I just think the upside is.
I think his upside is really his floor is bone dry. Like his floor is Peyton Turner. Oh shit! There it goes. His floor is Peyton Turner. His ceiling is Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
So.
But will he play at his ceiling though? That's the thing.
Will he get to the ceiling?
Yeah.
With Dan Campbell, anything's possible. Washington, they're interesting. They released Jonathan Allen, right? Or was it Deron Payne?
Jonathan Allen. They still got.
They brought in somebody, right?
They got Sheldon Day.
I swear to God,
they've also got what's his name, Javon Kinlaw from.
Oh yeah, the needle mover.
Yeah.
Jets legend Javon Kinlaw. Let's see. They brought in Laramie Tunsil. They re-signed Zach Ertz. They got Terry McLaurin.
They paid for Deebo Samuel.
Dietrich Wise, Cleveland Farrell, Dorrance Armstrong's still there. They got Jerjon Newton in the wings.
They did lose their corner though in Benjamin St. Juste. They have Lattimore and St. Still.
We are gonna stick with corner though. I think guy who helped his draft stock tremendously at the combine. We're gonna take Maxwell Hairston, corner from Kentucky. I think he makes it into the first round.
I still don't like.
I love Siobhan Ravel. Don't get me wrong.
I still don't see the upside with Max Hairston. He's fast.
Ran the fastest combine.
Doesn't matter. You can be fast, but his problems is he can't cover. That's his problem. And if you want to play corner in the NFL, you're gonna have to cover.
Chiefs are signing Derek Nyati.
I seen that. Buffalo Bills, you're on the clock. They're making moves. The MVP is getting his help that he needs. That rhymed. Hey, spitting bars. They got Keon Coleman back. They re-signed Khalil Shakir, which was a big
They
help.
brought in big old Joey.
They brought in big Josh Palmer to help him out as well. They still got Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox, so the offense is cooking with grease. James Cook is still there. The defense, Joey Bosa. They cut Von Miller, but he can go anyways. He's too old. They re-signed Gregory Rousseau, so the defense is still. I still think they're missing something on that defense. And hear me out. I'm going to do it, not because I love this guy very much, but I think they need it the most. They got Taron Johnson and Rasul Douglas, but they still need that another corner to help them out. I'm going to take Siobhan Ravel here from Eastern Carolina. It just makes sense. He's a big corner. He can play in the slot, but Taron Johnson's usually the slot guy, so I think he'll be the number 2 corner here.
For the Kansas City Chiefs, this pick is very interesting because Matthew Golden and Emeka Egbuka are still here. You could take either one of those and be happy with that.
Wow, Emeka Egbuka is still here. That's insane.
I think I'm going to take a different player, though, because they traded away their O-line. They sold their O-line to the devil. I'm going to take Ohio State guard Donovan Jackson.
It's a great pick.
He can play guard, and guess what? He can play tackle because he played left tackle for the rest of the year.
That's true.
After
Yep. The Eagles, hear me out. The Eagles, they like taking these type of guys. Why not pair them up with Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis? I mean, this kind of makes sense. He shouldn't have fell this low. I think he's very, very underrated as a defense. I don't like him that much.
Don't do it. No.
I don't like it. He's very underrated as a defensive player.
No, Nazir, why do you have to be so bad at football?
I'm gonna take Walter Nolan from Ole Miss here.
I got a question for you though, real quick. I know you probably locked that pick in already, but
I haven't locked it in yet. Actually.
What are they doing at guard? Oh yeah, Kenyon Green. Never mind. Yeah,
they got Kenyon Green. They're okay. They're okay. That's what I'm saying. I'm not worried about the O line. They'll figure it out. They're the Eagles. They'll figure it out. Trust me. They'll figure it out. That's why I'm gonna go here. You need help. You lost Milton Williams, but having a rotation of these three guys will absolutely be insane. I'm gonna go Walter Nolan still. Here.
All right. Cleveland Browns. We took Travis Hunter in the first round. I'm gonna get him a really heavy-handed teammate for Myles Garrett, who went to the same college. We're going Nick Scorton.
Oh, he would love that they both play at Texas A&M. Then they can just talk about Texas A&M shit over and over and over.
Yeah, how mid they were. Yeah.
New York Giants, they took their quarterback of the future, Shedeur Sanders, but he still needs a little bit of help from. I mean, he's going to have Malik Neighbors and Darius Slayton throwing him the football. I think they take Matthew Golden here from.
I like the pick
from Texas.
I like it. Tennessee, guess what, man? We're going back-to-back wide receivers. I'm going to take a
Booker. Yeah,
it's a great.
That makes sense. Jacksonville Jaguars on the clock. They took
T-Mac
in the first, so they addressed their what's it called? I can't even think.
Wide receiver need.
Wide receiver room, yeah. Honestly, they do need the help of defense. I'm gonna take a defensive guy, just because I still think that they need to.
They do. They desperately do. They need a corner.
They desperately need a corner, but they also desperately need a defensive tackle that's actually worth something for them, or at least that'll give them somewhat of something.
Yeah.
I'm torn between two guys, but I think I'm going to help them out. He's a great run stopper. He's not very good in the pass rush, but they have one decent pass rusher, one great pass rusher. I'm going to go Derek Harmon from Oregon, the defensive lineman. Great run stopper.
It's a great pick. Vegas, they're getting kind of the short end of the stick here because I like Io Maynor. I'm not going to take him this early in the second. I think they could definitely go corner here, actually. And I think I'm going to go with Benjamin Morrison from Notre Dame.
Great pick.
It's between him and Azariah Thomas, but I like Azariah Thomas a lot. However, Benjamin Morrison, I think the NFL is going to like a little bit more.
Azariah Thomas also concerns me in man coverage and press coverage, too. So Benjamin Morrison's a great pick because he can play. He literally, he's one of those underrated guys that can play anywhere. But his only issue is his awareness and his lack of being in the right position at the right time. That's his only flaw that he's got. So, New England Patriots, they took Mason Graham, which was probably huge. That was very huge. I still think that they need to bump it up and get maybe another wide receiver to help out Drake May. But there's no really guys that I really kind of like right now, and I don't feel the fit of Elick Io-Minor here. I do think they still need to address some of the O-line as well. They just cut David Andrews, and what a great addition this is.
They got another Andrews in the wings. So
yeah, but what a great addition. They still need some guard help a lot, so what a great addition. They also need tackle help as well. I'm gonna go a guy who can play tackle or who can play guard and center, just in case if they need him to play center. I'm going to go Gray Zabel from North Dakota State.
That's a good pick.
I would have liked to take an Ariante Ursery there, but I just don't think he's the fit for them right now. So
they need a left tackle more than anything.
Yeah.
They currently don't have that on their roster.
Yeah, that's true. There's two guys I like here for the Bears, and they would be cooking. Ben Johnson knows what he's doing in this draft. He got a great pick in Armand M'Bou in the first. So
wait, no, this is easy actually. We're going to take Amari and Hampton here.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, this is the easy pick here. Then Ben
And guess
Johnson.
what? And guess what? If I didn't take him, guess what? I get to take him the next pick because after the Saints, they're back on the clock.
Yeah, I know. Marion Hampton. The Saints here. Y'all need a lot. Y'all really do. Actually, I'm gonna go since you lost Paulson to Debo. I'm gonna give you some help at corner. You might hate me for this. I'm gonna give you Azariah Thomas from Florida State.
I like it.
You need corner help. He can play in the slot. So
Get ready, Bears, because y'all are not only getting Armand Mimbu and Amari and Hampton, you're also going to take my favorite player in this entire draft, edge from Ohio State, Jack Sawyer.
yo, Ben Johnson is cooking with grease right now.
Him, Sweat. You got Grady Jarrett and
Gervon Dexter.
Gervon Dexter in the middle, and then they also they have Tyler Booker, not
Yeah.
Tyler Booker, Tyler Booker, or not Tyler Booker, but something Booker.
Yeah,
Austin
Booker. Austin Booker. Yeah.
And then they've also got
Zach Pickens as well. Still.
and also the guy that they got from the Colts.
Yeah. Oh, Odeo Odingbo.
That's a really good draft. And then you got Amari and Hampton to carry the rock with Armand Mimbu at left tackle.
And DeAndre Swift is carrying the rock as well too.
Yeah, that's great.
With
Jets.
DJ Moore,
Yeah.
DJ Moore and Roma Dunze.
And they'll probably end up picking a wide receiver in the fourth. Actually, I don't know how many more picks they have. But
they have a third round pick, I think. I don't think they have a fourth.
No, best drop them.
The Jets here, who did they take? They took it.
They took Abdul.
Okay, so they do need to address the tackle room. I'm going to take Ariante Ursary.
No, best drop him.
This is probably one of those picks that they'll be running in is taking Ariante. Take Ursary.
Yeah, play right tackle.
I like him better than Josh Connerly just because they need right tackle more than they do the left tackle. Because I believe when they get Olu Fashanu back, he'll move to left. So
the 49ers are on the clock.
You got to do this here. There's only there's two guys I like, but there's one.
There's a couple guys I'm interested in. I'm looking at Alec Ironmaner here for wide receiver because they lost everybody. You could also go Darian Porter because he's a really good corner. Xavier Watts would be a really good fit. I was also looking at maybe a developmental tackle that could potentially play left for him once Trent's gone, who you can kind of have as a swing guy this year. And then
Josh Connerly would be that swing guy. No,
that'd be Cameron Williams.
Yeah,
I was thinking Cam Will because he's so raw as a prospect.
He is so raw. Yeah,
he's really moldable. So that's where I'm at. It's Ironmaner, Porter, Watts, or Williams. And I think all of those picks are really good picks for the 49ers. It's just, do I think in the third they'd be able to grab one of these guys? I think potentially Watts and Porter would be there. I think Ironmaner is going to get taken in the second. And I think Cam Williams is probably going to get taken in the second. I'm going to go Alec Ironmaner because you legitimately just have Brandon Ayuk and
Pearsall and Jawan Jennings.
Ricky Pearsall, I didn't forget about him. But I think Ironmaner in there too would be great.
They're thinking about trading Brandon Ayuk anyway. So
of course, because they need money.
Because, I mean, it makes sense. Alec Ironmaner, Ricky Pearsall, and Jawan Jennings, that's a decent receiving core in my eyes anyways.
Yeah.
So Dallas Cowboys, they're on the clock. I'm not even going to really address what they need because they need a bit of everything. But there's one sole thing that they're missing, but I don't think they're going to do it because, he's stupid. Jerry Jones is an idiot. Jerry Jones doesn't know how to manage it. The Dallas Cowboys, after hiring Brian Schottenheimer as their freaking head coach, he don't know what he's doing. I think he just needs to go on and retire. Sorry. I really do think he needs to retire. I'm going to go a pick here that might be beneficial to them just because Jerry Jones likes it. I'm going to go the edge rusher from Boston College. I'm going to go Donovan Ezeraku.
I like it.
Even though I know they need wide receiver help, but Jerry Jones ain't going to be like, oh, I don't want no wide receiver. I get wide receiver.
Jonathan Mingo. They're fine.
He going to be like, I got Jonathan Mingo. I got CeeDee Lamb. I'll be okay. Donovan Ezeraku is going to be a second-round pick to Dallas Cowboys.
Indianapolis, they took Tyler Warren. I think this is the spot for Tate Ratledge from Georgia. They have Tanner Bordolini, I believe, is their center now. But they
They
also
do.
lost Fries,
They lost Ryan Kelly, the center.
and they lost Will Fries, both to the Vikings. So
Yeah.
I'm 100% fine taking a guy like
Rowledge.
a guy like um
Tate Rowledge, who can both
yeah, Tate
play both.
Ratledge, who can play center, who can play guard.
It's a
So
great
that's
pick.
what I'm going with
Atlanta Falcons. They took
Jalen.
Jalen Walker from Georgia. They usually don't draft Georgia guys, so you know they've never drafted a Georgia guy in the first round. Atlanta's never taken a Georgia guy in the first round. That's absolutely insane. Here I think they still need to address some of that defense. They did lose Grady Jarrett, which was their cornerstone defensive guy, who I still thought would have been an Atlanta Falcon for the rest of his career. I'm liking this guy that's up in the boards right now. He might push himself in the first round if he has a great pro day. Not a lot of people are talking about him. He's a little bit undersized. That's why he's going to go so low in this. But if he can prove that to the doubters at his pro day, I think it'll be really good. I'm going to take Darius Alexander from Toledo.
Like it.
Not most of y'all know who Darius Alexander is, but he's a really good prospect. Can do a little bit of everything: pass rush, bull rush. He's a run stopper. He can do a little bit of everything. So and that's what Atlanta needs right now. So
Arizona's on the clock. I'm going to go with Cameron Williams, tackle from Texas.
that makes the most sense in the world.
I think you put him there, develop him behind, maybe bring back Christian Jones or Jonah Williams or something.
Yeah, that makes sense. Miami on the clock. They took the man, the myth, the legend, Carson Beck. No, I'm just kidding. They didn't. Take
Imagine.
Imagine though.
Seth Hennigan, you are.
No. I think I'm gonna address a big need that they really do, and they just lost probably their biggest defensive back player on their team besides Jalen Ramsey, but Jalen Ramsey is non-existent anymore. I'm gonna take Xavier Watts, the safety from Notre Dame. I just feel like he'll fill that void for losing Javon Holland, but he's not going to fill that void because Javon Holland's a rare breed of a player. But he'll fill it in some way that it can help the Miami Dolphins out a little bit.
Bengals, they desperately do need a corner. We're going to go Darian Porter here. Athletic freak, only 1 year starter. That's the problem.
Seattle, they took – who did they take?
Tyler Booker.
Tyler Booker, the guard. Still do think they need to address the receiving room, even though they still got, Cooper Kupp and Jackson Smith and Jigga, but they still do need a third guy. I'm going to take a guy that's probably not as, known to play in this position, but I think Cooper Kupp's going to play in their slot, so they need a bigger guy. I'm going to take a guy I'm not very high on either. I'm going to take Jaden Higgins from Iowa State. I just feel like they need a bigger body receiver, and he'll be that guy that fits on the outside.
Denver Broncos took Jod Campbell. Right now, at running back, who's their RB1?
McLaughlin.
We're going to go Travion Henderson here.
That's a great pick, and now the Broncos are cooking with grease. Sean Payton.
Seattle's back on the clock.
Oh, Seattle, you're back on the clock. Hey, you know what I said earlier? I said that they need to address so many things here. I gave them an offensive lineman in Tyler Booker, and they just took wide receiver Jaden Higgins, the big body receiver. I do think that they still need to move on from Abraham Lucas. I'm still going to give them their O-line help. I'm going to go – I don't like this guy, but I'm going to have to take him because he's the only one available that I think that's really somewhat decent here. I'm going to take Josh Connerly from Oregon. Not sleeping on Wyatt Millum. Not. I just don't see him going to play tackle for the Seattle.
Yeah. For the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they took Jahdae Barron in the first. I think they're going to turn around and they're going to take JT Tuimoloau, edge rusher from Ohio State here.
A bunch of
Just
these
add
Ohio
no
State
Scotty.
guys.
Hassan Reddick,
Yeah.
after this year he might be gone. They let go of Joe Tryon Sharinka, so they need some guys.
Green Bay has selected already, right, in the first
Luther
round.
Burden.
Luther Burden, the wide receiver, they addressed that, which was one of their biggest needs. I would say another big need was to help find some Josh Jacobs a partner, but I don't think they really need a running back right now. Another issue would be fixing that defensive front really bad. I mean, what's his name can't do it by himself. Kenny Clark can't do it by himself. He's going to need help. I'm going to take a guy that most people probably would think this would be a reach this early. I see that Tyleek Williams is here. I can't take a Tyleek Williams here. It's just not the move. I'm going to take a TJ Sanders from South Carolina.
Okay, you're going to take Bull Rush McIntyre.
I believe that they would like to have him because Kenny Clark's more of the pass rushing type of defensive lineman anyway. So then you get a run stopper and a bull rusher in TJ Sanders, and it makes the most sense for the Green Bay Packers.
Oh my God, dudes, please play away from here. The LA Chargers, they
are cooking with grease.
They still need a tight end. I'm gonna go Harold Fannin here.
That's a great pick.
You remember when what's his name took him in the first round?
Yeah, Jaden. Yeah.
Terrorist. He's a terrorist.
He's good. I don't think he's first round talent. Buffalo's going to run this into the thing. I think they take defensive lineman Tyleek Williams. They've got to find somebody because Jordan Phillips and all these old guys are not helping them out up front. I mean, they're good. Don't get me wrong, they're good, but they're getting old and they're going to need to get used eventually to help Gregory Rousseau and Joey Bosa.
This next pick, the Panthers took Will Campbell. We're going to go middle linebacker, Demetrius Knight from South Carolina. I think he can be the Shaq Thompson of the future.
Who?
Demetrius Knight.
Oh, okay. I was like, I didn't see him at first, and I was like, whoa.
Novus, chill, bro.
The Houston Texans are on the clock. They took a tackle.
You know where they got to go.
They've taken a tackle, right?
They've taken one tackle.
They need to address the wide receiver room, the interior of their O-line, D-line.
What are you talking about? They signed Braxton Berrios.
Yeah, but it still says they need a wide receiver. Honestly, I think this class is loaded with a bunch of receivers. They'll get some eventually. I'm actually gonna go with the offensive help. Still, I'm gonna go Marcus Imbo, the interior offensive lineman. I think they need to fix this O-line because last year C.J. Stroud was the fourth most sacked quarterback in all the NFL, and it was behind Laramie Tunsil and all of them, and that's not very good. And if you think he's the franchise guy and you can elevate, if y'all want to win more games, you're going to have to fix the O-line. And what a great way to get two young guys to help you on your O-line.
You talk about David Ajabo. You talk about who's that defensive tackle for him?
For the Ravens?
Mm-hmm. Really good one.
Matabike.
And then you talk about Princely Uman-Mielen.
You know they take these weird name guys and they end up being superstars or studs. So, I mean, I can see Princely being very good here. So, I hate saying that as go Steelers all the way. I hate seeing that. But Detroit Lions, you are on the clock. You took
They took
Michael Williams, the edge rusher.
They could do with the O-guard, although they haven't had any.
I still think you need to address the O-line room. I'm going to take Jonas Salvania from Arizona.
Yeah, get yourself another freaking Polynesian.
To help with Penei Sewell on that right side. Ooh.
Just insanity. The Commanders took Maxwell Harrison Ooh, there's some good options here.
There's a bunch of good options here.
Uh,
They do need a third receiver because I don't think Luke McCaffrey's.
I was looking at Besh or Noel.
I wouldn't hate a Royal.
Honestly, I'm gonna go Quinshawn Judkins. Him and
Brian Robinson.
Brian Robinson. That's insane. That's great running back.
But they do. They
And-
also have Austin Eckler as well. So
No, Eckler. Yeah, no, they do.
they do.
I was thinking of AJ Dillon signing with the Eagles.
Yeah, they still have Austin Eckler. So
Eckler could be your third down back. Brian Robinson could be your first down back, and then your second down back can be Quinshawn Judkins.
okay, here I'm gonna go with defensive pick as well. I'm really sold on their offense right now. I don't really think they really need that much help after they proved to us last year they didn't need all the help because Amari Cooper still wasn't that good last year. Towards the end, Keon Coleman's going to be great. Khalil Shakir was great. And I think Josh Palmer is going to add an extra big body, deep ball threat to this team. So I would say Trey Harris would be a perfect fit here, but I don't want to take. I'm going to take the linebacking help that they need because Matt Milano needs some help in that middle. Even though I know he plays outside sometimes too, but he still needs help in that. I'm going to take Carson I can't even say it. Schlesinger from UCLA.
I like it. I think the Chiefs are going to run this pick in. It's going to be Jack Besh, wide receiver from TCU.
Okay, Philadelphia. Philadelphia, you're on the clock. You just lost Darius Slay, but you've got corners. You got Cooper DeJean. You've got you lost Avonte Maddox too, and you lost James Bradbury. You got Quentin Mitchell, who I said was Mitchell Island. If y'all didn't hear me, I love that guy, and Bennett knows. Bennett knows I love Quentin Mitchell. That's my boy. I'm gonna pair him up with Trey Amos, the brother of Adrian Amos, who can also play safety if needed, but I don't think they really need him to play safety.
All right. That's the whole draft. That's the whole kit and caboodle, as they've said.
Yeah.
As my computer tries to melt. Good Lord. Anyway, we're not going to rerun through all those picks.
So. We're not.
But yeah, no. So post free agency, we'll see what else happens. We'll see who people what teams are kind of liking.
Their free agency. Well, going to free agency, there's still some big names left. We're still waiting on the decision for the 41-year-old retirement home quarterback.
Mercedes Lewis,
And Mercedes Lewis. It's Aaron Rodgers. We're still waiting on what decision. But I'm going to ask Bennett the question: where do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to sign, or is he going to retire?
I don't want to see him in Pittsburgh. I really don't, because I don't like that move. And he was hesitant to throw the deep ball. He's got 2 deep ball wide receivers. I could definitely see him going somewhere on the West Coast, though. I think he goes and honestly, what would be best for his career right now is to sign a 1-year deal with the 49ers. Plays for his hometown team that he loved growing up. He backs up Brock Purdy, and he has an opportunity to potentially win a Super Bowl.
As a backup, though, I don't think he wants to be a backup.
I think Brock Purdy's going to get hurt this year because that line is in shambles.
I still don't think he wants to be a backup.
He doesn't. He wants to start. However, if not this year, in the next 2 years, I would like to see him play for the 49ers.
But honestly, I could see him going to New York and going back to the Giants. I think if he wants the money, the Steelers don't have that money to pay him. No. He's asking for about $33 million a year in Sam Darnold deal, guaranteed. The $33 million that he was going to get extra, guaranteed. No. He wants that. I don't think the Steelers only have like 11, 12 million left in cap space, so we don't have enough to give him after we're paying DK $150 million a year. So
yeah.
Well, we'll see how it goes out. I don't want him in Pittsburgh. Like I said, I'm okay. And my love-hate relationship with Mason Rudolph. I love him sometimes, and I hate him the next time. But, I mean, like I said, the year before with the Trubisky year, he went in there, he won 4 in a row, and then lost in the playoff game. That wasn't his fault because we had some fumble issues. We had We dropped some passes that were wide open that Mason Rudolph threw really good, and the defense didn't come to play. And we only lost 31-17 to Buffalo, which is not bad. I thought it was going to be 31-3 or 31-0 coming into that game, and I wasn't too happy. But he did his job. I think what you said was I don't like it either. I absolutely don't like it because of his issues that I think they need to address. Is Jackson Dart would be the next best available option, which I'm in on Jackson Dart right now. I don't like it just because Mason Rudolph, what does he really got to teach Jackson Dart? Because Mason Rudolph is kind of the same way. He's a middle of the field deep ball merchant, but he knows the middle of the field best than most of these Steelers quarterbacks in the past. Kenny Pickett wouldn't throw in the middle of the field. Russell Wilson wouldn't throw in the middle of the field. Justin Fields wouldn't throw in the middle of the field. But Mason Rudolph throws in the middle of the field. I think that's what Jackson Dart would learn. But is it a guy that you really want to learn from, Mason Rudolph, to learn all that stuff from? Because he's still going to have to learn how to, throw that deep ball accurately. Sometimes it's not accurate. So we'll see what happens there. Stephon Diggs, still a big free agent. So
Yeah. But this has been Inside the Cage. Little 2-round mock draft. We'll get back together here in a little bit, in a couple, probably like a week or two, and try to do another show of basketball or something like that. But
March Madness, we'll probably break down our bracket soon. So
in the meantime, I'm Bennett.
I'm Brady Johnson, and you're watching
Thank you for tuning in.
Cage. Thank you. In street.